Oh, hello, and welcome to Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
And I'm Dr. Leviathan.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories most creepy and most pasta. Tonight we have Corruptus, the final entry of the Abandoned by Disney series.
Yay! And there was much rejoicing.
From some. So for those of you just not in the know, Creepypasta are short, scary internet stories that get copied and pasted.
Why are you listening to a podcast about creepypastas if you don't know what they are?
I know we might have like one listener who's just like, oh, what's the? I want to know about creepypasta. Oh, there's Dente Rigamortis. I don't know. There might be one of you out there. If so, comment or send us an email. But yeah, they're short, scary stories that get copied and pasted across the internet, whether it be on wikis or forums. Go Google creepypasta for a better explanation. And Corruptus is part of the Abandoned by Disney series of creepypastas by Slime Beast, and you can check it out on the creepypasta.wiki site, or you can listen to a reading of it by Creepy Steampunk on YouTube. And we'll just go dive into the rundown. So it's the narrator from the previous stories, only 2 years after the original incident at Mowgli's palace that started the entire series. He got this strange email with the title word in the subject line, and shortly after shortly after that, all his accounts and just anything that was him on the grid were destroyed or seized. He was able to snag some computer time out of the library before that was also snagged from him. He goes on a rant or two in this creepypasta. It's more like a blog entry about the Disney pursuers. Like, he's been having people, he calls the focus group, because they're in suits and they have clipboards and they write stuff down. He actually is able to grab one of them and look at what they're writing, and it's just random scribbles and gibberish vaguely in the shape of Mickey Mouse in a red pen. So, and also starts ranting about how people are reading his story, his account and his story, like Abandoned by Disney, Room Zero, suggestions, and thinking that it's just creepypasta. So it's the character actually, like, what do you mean it's, like, stop thinking it's a story, it's real life, it's happening for reals. So he goes on for that, and then he throws down the document that was in the email that he got before it was corrupted, or before everything got ruined. And he also mentions that he copied like thousands of copies of this thing and stapled them and like placed them all over the place so that Disney could give Disney a hell of a time trying to track them all down. And the document is a formal write-up or report revealing the status of the monsters and anomalies that have spawned out of the different creepypastas that we've seen previously for the Abandoned by Disney series. And even some other ones that haven't been made yet, or just like presumed they're there. So the narrator believes that his after like he gives us the document, he goes into like what he thinks that this is all about, and he believes that this is proof that Disney is trying to cover up incidences where their company's activities have sparked some twisted, monstrous life out of belief in their icons and their films and stuff. Even using the golden calf as an analogy for saying that God wasn't angry by people creating false icons and stuff, but he was actually afraid because he knew of the repercussions that would spawn from it. So a whole bunch of symbolism stuff. He states some examples from previous stories and ties it to this theory, like the Abandoned by Disney clown or inverted costume and the Room Zero bunker. And then it's pretty much like his final entry is he just like leaves this as his final entry to the Abandoned by Disney series, saying he's probably not going to be able to do any more because he doesn't know how much longer he has left, and the story ends with like this kind of foreshadowing of doom for the narrator and perhaps the world. So that was Corruptus in a nutshell. There were some things I enjoyed about it. I liked the idea that is presented for the origin story of all his little creations, or all the creatures and monsters. Like the whole belief, like sheer belief bringing about like monstrous entities. It's very similar to like At the Mouth of Madness or the Tulpa theory. And I liked the continuity of the character from the previous ones. Like we actually get to see it like at a check-in of a character that we've read a couple of times. We get to see.
I would have appreciated that too if I had given a rat's ass.
Yeah, well, that's the difference, because like you don't really care. You didn't care at all for these stories. I actually didn't mind reading some of them. And I don't know whether it's like through like because it helped me like like it's a familiar character, even though we never got a name or anything like that. It was just like, oh, I know this character from those ones. He's carried on to this one. I did feel like the author was just done with the Abandoned by Disney series and wanted some semblance of closure for it, so he just kind of rushed this out to try it because he was done doing Disney creepypastas. I don't know if that's actually the case, but that's kind of what it felt like to me. Because it felt kind of out of character for this narrator, like, or really forced, that it's like, well, this is my last entry for reasons.
He gives pretty good reasons.
He gives reasons, but it didn't feel like it was, like, I don't know, it just felt like he was trying to get this out and trying to stick it to Disney, and then it's like, but I'm going to not do any more postings about this whole stuff.
Well, okay.
I don't know, it seemed like, it's like, well, it's over.
Everything has to end. At least he gave a reason for it. Like, at least he did the final story, and at least he gave a reason in that story
and
why it's the end.
Yeah, and that's part of it. Like, I'm weirdly on the fence about that, because it's like, at one point it's like, yeah, he actually, the guy who gave us a closure on like the series, but at the same time it's like, I don't know, like a little part of me still wanted to like keep seeing more stories of this come out.
Yeah, but he wasn't going to write them, so he ended it.
Yeah, so I guess I'm
he
just
could
like
have just he could have just said fuck
stop.
you.
Yeah. No, I understand.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I don't care for this, I don't care for any of them, but I gotta defend that point because he could have just fucking stopped.
Yeah, exactly.
And he didn't, so I don't understand why you have a problem with it. Or why you even think you might have a problem with it.
I don't know, because maybe I actually
ended it.
fucking liked the stories. But,
yes, but he's done.
Yeah.
And if he's done, he ended it. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to do that. So you can't be bitchy that he ended it, because the other option was nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I'm having, I don't know, like I had like, when I finished reading, I was like, alright, well, it's kind of like it's over. So, I don't know, it's just like, I don't know how to explain why I feel like I guess I feel like I kind of wanted there to be more, but I don't know, it's over.
Yeah, but, like I say,
reader's remorse, maybe? I don't know.
It doesn't matter if you want more.
Yeah.
Because
the author's done.
The author is done, and he's put a finale on it, and, like, well, to use a different example, last episode of Firefly. Yeah. I actually can't remember it off the top of my head, but the series wasn't over after it. I mean, they made a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, like, because it's like, well, fuck, you're just canceled because reasons.
Yeah.
Whereas this, at least, you know,
he was able to do it on his own time.
Here's closure.
Yeah.
As opposed to just ending and you being like, man, I wonder if there's ever going to be another one. At least now you're not wanting more.
Or not waiting, not expecting another one.
Yeah.
Show up.
And if you do get more, well, honestly,
for those of you that care,
probably just going to be shit.
Yeah. Well, again, like this is the difference. Like, because I actually went in like enjoying the series.
No, but if you get more, it's probably just going to be shit. Because obviously, it's not going to be the same guy writing.
That's true. Yeah, it could be some other Joe Blow that
some asshat who's just like, I want more too.
Fair.
Like, you know, like honestly, just let it go. To go by Disney on this, just let it go.
It's going to be stuck in my head.
And accept the fact that it's over. I mean, you know, when you watch a good movie, are you pissy that it's over? Or are you like, man, that was a good movie?
No, yeah.
Okay, you enjoyed this. Don't be pissy that it's over. Enjoy the fact that you enjoyed it.
Okay.
So you can't hold that against this.
I'm trying not like that.
Yeah, but
like,
it sounds like you.
I know it sounds like I am
it against it,
and
that's just,
perhaps that's the way it is.
That's
it's just
shitty of you.
All right, thanks.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like if you don't let things be over when they're over, that's how you get shitty sequels. That's how you get Cinderella 2.
Or The Lion King 2.
Or
2.5.
You know, any number of shitty sequels
attempts
that are out there.
Yeah, to try and commercialize. Yeah. Okay, I got you there on that.
Like, I mean, appreciate what you got and accept what you have and, you know, move on with your life. Or, you know, go back and reread them all. That's fine, too. Don't be shitty, is what I'm saying.
For the audience at home, he just keeps poking at me, or he just keeps staring at me with that. Not you. Okay, fair enough.
Well, I mean, anyone.
It's just something I'll have to live with.
Anyone who liked these stories and doesn't like the fact that they're over, all of them, don't be shitty.
Yeah.
You know? Appreciate, like, I mean, if you liked it, then that means that you think it was good, and, you know, to ask for more when someone else's heart isn't in it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's, yeah.
You're just gonna get shit. You're gonna get, you know, fine, here's another fucking Abandoned by Disney fucking saga.
Yeah, like, that's the like, you don't want the author to try and force
exactly.
He
wants to move on, or what have you, and let him, and then maybe you can appreciate the other things he writes, the other creepypastas, or what have you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, isn't that really the better way to go?
Yeah, because you want to go better. You want to expand, and, like, not stay in stagnation.
Exactly.
All right, feel a little bit better. But yeah, okay. My my personal feelings about the ending of it aside, and I've given my 2 cents about what I liked and what I didn't overly like about it. Dr. Leviathan.
Honestly, I've never been a big fan of these in general, and whereas you liked the idea of, you know, if enough people believe it, then it will become true. That's just so, for me, it was such a letdown. Like, I mean, the rest of it was almost like, well, the rest of them were almost like a Disney is fucking meddling in shit they don't fucking fully comprehend or control. And, like, some fucked up shit is coming out of this. Meanwhile, it's just like, oh, Disney makes people believe shit, so it becomes a real thing. Like, it just seemed so less sinister.
Like, from the corporation side. Like, the corporation is not a... Like, they're not doing, like, they're not purposely doing this, they're trying to contain it.
Yes. What's creepier? Me making you believe that a Frankenstein-esque monster exists, so then it does? Or, I built a Frankenstein-esque monster.
Yeah, or, like, they actually purposely had a project that was, like, it definitely, like, ruins the idea of, like, Disney as a sinister or as a truly sinister company, where that the rest of the series is kind of attributed to, whereas this is just like, oh no, they've made some mistakes because they were trying to become gods, and... Yeah.
So, for me, I don't know, I found that kind of a step in the wrong direction for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
You liked it, fine. Difference of opinion. We've never agreed on this. Another thing is, okay, this is really just more or less a just big gaping anus of a plot hole.
Yep.
Why would they, like, basically erase his electronic footprint and, you know, basically make him a non-entity in the world? Why wouldn't they just kill him?
Yeah, no, the whole thing is, like, they're trying to, like, frame him and make him, like, disgrace him, but, like...
If you can completely remove someone's access to the internet...
To communication, yeah.
You know, if you can, like, brick his cell phone and, you know, basically just fucking cut him off and leave him with, you know, one option to basically go back and go out and be a mountain man... I'm pretty sure you can kill him and not catch any
Flack.
any consequences from it.
Like, you've been covering up so well. I mean, like, again, Room Zero, you covered up the disappearance of an entire theme park worth of people. Like, removed cars from the parking lot, they no longer exist. Like, how can you not, like, just get rid of this guy?
Yeah,
One guy.
how can't you just kill him?
Yeah.
And it would be so much easier, and, you wouldn't have this fucking leaked document.
Yeah.
It's
or any of the reports that have popped up so far. Like, he keeps saying it's like, oh, my previous stories have been removed, and like but like they're still popping up everywhere. They're still on Creepypasta.wiki.
Yeah.
Or like a YouTuber tried to who read one of my stories, turned it off because removed his reading of it, and I bet it's because he realized that Disney was one of his partner companies. What? Like, it was just one of those, again, like.
Yeah.
Why aren't any of the other readings just missing off of YouTube?
It's this contrivance that just, like, I'm reading it and I'm just like, wow, you've completely ruined my immersion, because anyone with, like, half of a sane brain cell in their brain would just kill you.
Yeah.
Like, they're clearly not picky about loss of life.
Like, you've stated,
based on the other stories, like, people fucking die. They're cool with that.
They can shove it under the rug.
I'm sure they're going to be okay if one of them is you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was just, I don't know, that was my...
He's like, he's almost like, he's trying to put himself as, like, he's one step ahead of Disney, but how every other...
No,
like,
you're not.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, every other instance in the other stories, you've explained how that's pretty impossible.
Well, and they've got people following him.
Yeah.
Like, give one of those people a gun.
Rather than a pen and a clipboard.
Yeah. Like, it's not...
Like,
different.
unless they're not even, like... Unless they're just, like, some weird cult that...
Maybe they exist because he believes in them.
I think you say that, but I think that's actually mentioned. That was something like that was mentioned in the end of the his theory. So, but yeah, no, like that. Yeah, that whole
like,
you believe it, like you're investigating and wanting to believe. So the thing that you're investigating and believe that exists suddenly appears. It's
my god, I don't like. It's just I don't know. So, between the whole fact that, like, they're trying to make people believe things so that they can...
change reality.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like,
that is quite possibly one of the dumbest plans for world domination I've ever heard.
Yeah. Especially when when they've had all those previous incidences where it's not gone well.
Yeah.
Like, the first one should have been like, alright, the first one didn't work, I think we should try a different avenue of world domination.
Also, you kind of, shoot yourself in the foot by bringing up the golden calf because, like, oh, thou shalt not worship engraven, or, blah.
Yeah.
Well, God kind of fucking put his thumb down on that. Why the fuck hasn't he stopped Disney? I mean...
now? Yeah, it's...
Now we could start getting into a theological debate, and I'm not going to, because that worm is too tempting, but I know there's a hook in there.
Just to let you know, I actually read down the comments, and by the way, the comments are just super critical of this entire story. But one of them is like, I really think you should have just left out the golden calf aspect. It was really unnecessary. And like then there was like a debate of like why like it was him giving an analogy that would have destroyed the rest of his.
No, but it wasn't even an analogy. It was like he was
he used it as
actually he changed it and then used it as an example.
Yeah,
because God doesn't just he's not just some dick who doesn't want anything else worshipped as he is. God's actually afraid of what can happen if people believe in other things, because then they'll come to be.
And
I mean, I am by far not the most educated in the Bible and what have you, but I'm pretty sure that's not what it is. I'm pretty sure it's just, hey, you're my children, you don't worship anything else.
Yeah.
Because nothing else is me.
Yeah, we're not... Well, okay,
yeah, I'm not getting into whether or not that's an asshole thing to... But, like, he changed what is, at least the common belief of what is written.
Yeah.
and then used it as an example. Well, you can get away with that with other things, but don't rewrite the Bible and then use it as an example.
Somebody's gonna
well, no, because it's just, you don't do that. I mean, you're asking people to not buy it at that, because it's like, well, you're like, oh, you know what God is actually thinking? I was unaware. That's a little presumptuous. Even I have to say that. That is fucking presumptuous.
I mean, if it's the right God. I'm not, yeah, no.
But you know what I mean? So to do that, you really fucking shot yourself in the foot. And it doesn't help your case. I mean, I already don't like the idea that Disney's trying to fucking take over the world.
Use belief magic to true belief to create their own icons, and because humans are miserable bastards, they're creating miserable monstrosities.
Yeah, I already don't like that, but
I will say,
trying to read God's mind is not helping your cause.
Yeah. It is kind of a trigger warning or like a touchy subject kind of thing whenever you introduce that kind of stuff.
I'm not even saying it as a trigger. Go ahead, but God is an omnipotent being,
and why hasn't he just?
And no. God is an omnipotent. Listen to me.
Sorry.
God is an omnipotent being, and the author here, Mr. Slimebeast, is claiming to know what God was actually thinking after the Exodus from Egypt.
Yeah.
Contrary to what is written in the book.
Yeah.
He's claiming to know what an omnipotent being, an all-powerful being, was thinking.
And
that's where the problem is.
Okay.
You don't, as a lowly human being, I can never know what an omnipotent power is thinking.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not I believe in it, I can't know what it's thinking. I can't. It just
no less than an ant can comprehend what you're thinking.
Exactly. They're separated by many, many levels.
Yeah.
And so that's you don't try and say that you know what God's thinking.
Yeah.
It's not even about pissing off, Catholics or Christians or
religious
Jews. Folk. It's not about pissing them off, because maybe they religious people are offended by
when they're
the inclusion of that. But I practice no religion, and I'm offended by that because it's fucking retarded.
The act of what he's written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that really you're telling me what God was thinking thousands of years ago. No, you're not. Here's a big old bag of dick. Enjoy your snack, sir.
Wow.
So for me that on top of the plot hole that Disney would just kill you because
God would have taken this down, or the presumption that he knows what God would be thinking at that point, and the fact that the
fact that Disney would just kill you as opposed to go through all of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Honestly, if they felt threatened by you, they would have killed you after Abandoned by Disney.
Yeah. That, we probably wouldn't even be able to read that story.
Yeah. Just saying. And I mean, if they can, erase his ability to access fucking communications, how have we ever read any of these?
Yeah, exactly.
It
does kind of, it kind of ruins the whole,
big gaping anus plot holes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what he tried to do was this isn't the real world, this is the story's world. But it's but we're reading as a creepypasta, and usually... And you're also doing it as a narrator, so...
Well, and it's also... If it's not the real world, don't use a real world entity like Disney.
Yeah.
Use something else.
Yeah.
Because...
And I mean, he's done that before. He has another haunted theme park attraction thing where he made up an entire theme park. And he used that, and he actually wrote a creepypasta about that. And so it's but when you use an actual actual company,
then I'm you know what, Disney could have you killed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean...
Based on what, and even based on what you've written about what Disney's capable of. Like, how have they not been able to take you out yet?
Well, even before that.
Yeah.
Like, even with just like, you know what? I'm betting Disney has... maybe not like... Maybe they don't have the contacts, but they've got the money to find the contacts, to find the people, to get you killed with no ramifications.
I just want to point this out in terms of Disney's power. Disney dollars, which are the theme park money units in their parks, has more currency value than the Icelandic currency has. Just putting that out there. Their park has more legitimacy as a currency than a actual country does. Just saying. Like, trying to help out, like, that point. It's like, they have a lot of... I think they have a lot more power, like, right at the get-go to do that, but...
I don't understand the point you're trying to make, but apparently you've already made it, so okay.
I mean, like, they haven't, like, when they've made up...
Don't worry about it.
Whatever.
It's okay.
Alright, I guess, is that it? Or is that the only other things that you have?
Basically, so I'm guessing in summation, you're not happy it's over...
Like, I'm glad he went on his own terms and turned off. It just felt rushed to me. Is what I think I'm getting at. Is that it didn't feel like a decent ending for the series, or it didn't feel like he didn't take enough time to like end it. But it's over, so
it's over, and I'm happy it's over. And honestly, yeah, I mean,
obviously there are people like me who did enjoy reading these pastas. So I guess it does. It gives us a middle or a beginning, a couple of other ideas that he explored, and then an ending. So I would recommend, like, if you've listened to us like complain about this stuff or compliment it, depending, or you've read the pastas up until this point, I would recommend reading this to finish it off.
Well, I mean, yeah, if someone else has read all of the other ones and liked them. Yeah, I guess I would recommend reading this. I mean, but
as a standalone, I don't think I would recommend reading. As a standalone,
even if you didn't like the other ones, like if you've read everything else about, like in this
Abandoned by Disney
story arc, if that's what it is, or maybe storyline, it's really just a series of events and shit. If you read it all and you didn't like it, don't read this. It's just going to be a further waste of your time. That's my stance, and honestly, I would recommend to anyone that hasn't read any of these to just avoid them. Personally, I don't... Honestly, the first one was probably the best, and I still didn't like it. I just didn't care one single second about any of this. I mean, yeah, God, how I didn't. But then again, I'm one of those people who, whenever someone says Disney, I just kind of switch off a little bit. So, like, I don't give a fuck about Disney. I've never given a fuck about Disney. So, like, oh, look what Disney's up to. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I never gave a shit. And, I mean, that's not the only reason I don't like these. Honestly, this one in particular, the fucking plot holes of, like, Disney would just kill you. Yeah. And, you know...
End of story.
Yeah. Like, they would just kill you, and I wouldn't have had to have read this. If this...
What you're proposing...
If this one in particular was taking place in the real world, Disney would have killed them, and I wouldn't be reading it.
Yeah.
And that is a world I want to live in.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I understand, like, there's tons of... Like you don't care for Disney, so this whole series did not appeal to you at all.
It's like when we do a video game creepypasta that's based on a video game that I've never played.
Yeah, you don't have the context, or
I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
that's the bare bones of it. I don't give a shit. We can use pretty words like I don't have context, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, with all of this with Disney, like again, I don't give a shit. You know, Disney is what it is. And the Disney I know would have killed you.
Yeah.
And that's honestly the biggest plot hole in this, in all of the Disney things, like in all of these different stories. That's the biggest plot hole.
Is that...
And by God, isn't it huge in this one?
Yeah. And I will say, like, I mean, there's not really much of a story in this one. It's just him doing a rundown of, like, what happened and then what he, like, this document he received from a mysterious benefactor, and then gave a theory as to why the other stuff is going on. And then is like, well, this is my closing statement because I'm probably going to die in the next little while. So, like, it was, And, like, I know we just had this, like, huge banter about, like, why you didn't like it and, like, why there's so many plot holes and stuff. But that's actually one of the reasons I like doing this, like, having these things on, is because, like, I'm a fan of Disney, and I enjoy when stories try to, like, create, like, creepiness out of, like, something like this, like, something so innocent. But I like also hearing the opinion of somebody who just doesn't give a fuck about it. So, because it's a lot less biased opinion about a story.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely biased towards the story because I enjoy monsters, I enjoy horror, I enjoy Disney, and I enjoy combining the two.
And you enjoyed all of the previous ones.
Exactly. Whereas you didn't give a shit about them, so you're giving us a unbiased opinion.
Well,
okay,
I would actually say biased in the opposite direction.
Maybe, yeah. But I mean, it's still closer to unbiased. Yeah. But it's also, like, it's closer to unbiased than probably I am.
Yeah, because, I mean, there is a theory out there that if this had been good, I might have liked it.
Exactly. You've had time and again, like, the story may not have appealed to you, but it was written well, or it was, like, you're more inclined to, like, judge a story by its work rather than its content, or by what it's telling you.
Fair enough.
So this was a worthy endeavor, if only just so that we get a semi-unbiased opinion on the story itself. And isn't that what we're trying to do? Like, discuss, or like with our discussions, we're trying to see the merit of a story from all angles, or from as many angles as possible.
Well, from both of our
from both of our angles.
Two different angles.
From the angles of somebody who would love, who enjoys reading stories like this, like, and can usually find the good in stuff, and where's somebody who can find the horrible.
From someone who wants to love everything.
Yeah.
Well, not love everything, but from someone who's generally just a nicer person and wants to enjoy things.
Yeah.
And then from someone who is really only happy when fucking miserable.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. I would, like I said, I would recommend it if you did enjoy the other ones like I did, and at least it gives you some semblance of closure from the author himself.
And I can actually agree with you that it was a little, maybe not rushed isn't quite the word, but just fucking, like, I don't know.
Like, he was tired. He was done with it. Like, he just wanted to get it over with.
Yeah, but he doesn't say that at the end so much as he says it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then keeps going. And I think now I'm actually finally understanding what you were trying to say, is that, like, he rushes into putting a stop to it at the start of this entry.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if that's what you're saying, or if that's maybe closer to the mark, but yeah, I'm having an equally hard time putting it into words as you were, but I think I agree with you on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's safe to say that. All right. Anyhow.
Yeah. So, from your angle, wouldn't recommend at all.
If you liked the other ones, I would recommend it because, obviously, this is just going to be more of what you like. It's an ending to the thing you've already been reading.
Yeah.
But, like, if you didn't like the other ones,
don't waste your time.
Don't bother reading this because, like, just save yourself the time and be happy that it's over. Mm-hmm. And if you've never read any of them, I would say don't even start. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. I would recommend...
Maybe Abandoned by Disney.
Yeah, I would recommend at least giving Abandoned by Disney and judging for yourself whether or not you liked it, or is you feel it's worth reading more, or just abandoning it. So yeah, alright. I guess that's our piece on the Abandoned by Disney series as a whole, and Corruptus. Like I said, it's by Slamby, so you can check it out on his website, or on Creepypasta.wiki. There's several readings of it. I checked it out at Creepy Steampunk on YouTube, and that's it for the show. So, if you liked what you heard, or if you didn't, if you have something to say to us, leave a comment in the comment section below wherever this gets posted, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, Tumblr. We're on iTunes, so leave us a review. We're on Twitter at Dr. Leviathan or Review Cultist. You can also send us an email at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com, where you can leave us suggestions for other creepypastas you'd like us to discuss on the show. Also, you can, if you'd like to support us, you can donate. Go to crazonstudios.tumblr.com, where you can check out all the title cards for each episode, and on the side there's a little donate button. So until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
And I'm still Dr. Leviathan.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.
Nitpicking at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
I found the shirt I want. Anywho, so, yeah.
Alright.
Also, it's gray.
This shirt is gray. This shirt is gray. This shirt is gray. This shirt is gray.